Well, episode 4, 4 webcams,
4 webcams,
4 cute guys,
1 donut.
1 popcorn bucket. It's
Mm.
coming. So, how did you boys celebrate Friday the 13th? Because I told myself I would watch a Friday the 13th film, and I definitely did not.
Um, fuck, what did I even do on Friday the I was probably masturbating, you know?
hmm Yeah, I think I did too. Um, Tyler, did you? Tyler, did you watch? What did you watch? You watched Talk to Me. What was
Oh,
your thoughts on
Ooh.
that?
the most insufferable main character I have ever had the displeasure of watching.
hmm hmm
And I watched it because we went to like a movie night with a couple of our friends, and that was a movie they wanted to watch. And I was like, I wanted to watch Talk to Me forever. And everyone else really seemed to enjoy it a lot. But I felt like I was just sitting there like, I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. And like, I didn't mind like the friend of the main character and the little brother.
Mm,
Like those two characters I enjoyed. I wish it I don't know if that was more of a focus, but the main character I just felt like I mean it's a horror movie. You're usually not gonna like the characters, but it was to the point where I was like, I legitimately am not enjoying the movie because I'm so irritated.
right. Have you guys seen it, Avery, Chad?
I've seen it. I've seen it a couple months back. It wasn't like when it first came out. It was whenever it was
Mm,
streaming. And I saw it and I was like, it looks interesting. It wasn't on my radar at all, but just like the idea of it was kind of creepy. And then I watched it and I was like, this is just a pile of dog crap. Like what?
Oh, so Chad, you have not seen
I've
it?
not seen it, no.
I say that, but I didn't absolutely hate it. But
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like under the circumstance that I'd seen it was kind of like a good way of viewing it for the first time. I went to a theater by myself because I was like, I just want to see it, and I didn't have anyone to go with, and I may or may not have been inebriated. That may play a focus point into why I enjoyed it. But it was like a packed theater, and it was just really surprising to me. And I felt like it had a lot of cool elements and stuff. And I feel like the point mostly that I find so cool about it is the fact that it was directed by 2 YouTubers. So I mean, like that's kind of cool. But by no means is it like anything. Like I haven't rewatched it since I first watched it, but I do feel like it's got a lot of good gory moments that are
Well,
pretty visceral.
yeah. Like I mean the opening, that was like instantly I was like, oh, okay, I'm feeling this.
hmm
And then the other super gory moments, I was like, that was like
There was a certain character that just stayed getting fucked up through the entire movie, and I was just like, Jesus.
we'll say the ending kind of surprised me. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I don't know if chat really cares about spoilers about this
I
one
don't care.
because it's just like a throwaway horror. But like her becoming like the ghost that you talk to, I guess. I thought that was
Mm.
a little neat part. The ghosts are
I
neat
felt
too.
like, yeah, I felt like as far as like a modern day kind of like horror, like as far as it taking place in a modern day, they used modern technology in a good way. Like it seemed something like as far fetched as it was, the situation itself seemed feasible. These like party situations with these like adolescent kind of like young adults and some just fucked up shit is happening. I mean, it just seems like totally plausible as far as something like that and it kind of becoming like a widespread internet sort of phenomenon. I feel like that's a really like kind of a 50-50 thing to hit on whenever you're like kind of implementing like technology into a horror.
You definitely made me feel like it was like I mean I get what they're going for, like a new age Ouija board. I like that. Where it's like it's changing it up. It's not the same old thing where you're kind of summoning a demon through the board. It's like you're talking to these people that have passed, even though they kind of like take over your body in a weird way. I thought that was kind of nice. What was the rules? It was like you only have like what a couple minutes to really have contact with them or something like that. Um,
It's what, 90 seconds, maybe.
yeah.
But if it kind of led into that thing where it's almost maybe kind of sort of like a, I would say wouldn't be too far fetched to say it's like kind of like a play on like peer pressure, like
Hmm.
drug use, and because it kind of led. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler, but I think it kind of led to them and the main chick, I believe, kind of hanging on to it longer than the 90 seconds. Like she like really was like kind of pushing the limits as far as that, just because again, peer pressure and this sort of
He
new
was
thing.
fiending.
She was
Yeah, she was
fiending for the hand.
fiending.
Hmm.
That should have
We
been a
should get.
popcorn bucket.
I was gonna say we should get the talk to me hand on the show as a kind of a suggestive TV prop.
Hmm.
Yeah, uh, wasn't bad, but could have been better. Could have been scarier. I feel like.
Yeah. Again, I feel like for like the gory parts and stuff, again, well, I haven't rewatched it or anything like that, so definitely probably won't hold up as much on the second watch.
What'd you get into, Chad?
On Friday 13th, not
Mm.
much work. Jacked off with the other three, and that's about it. Or the other
Yeah.
two.
Circle
It
jerk.
was a good day for that. It
It was.
was a good day for that. Um, in other news, we I came to find out that for Saw's 20th anniversary, they're doing a re-release in theaters, and it's going to be an unrated version, which is kind of cool. I know Tyler for a while was big into the Saw films. You kind of started. You did like kind of like a slow like marathon of them, didn't you?
I'm still slowly marathoning it, but it's kind of to the point now where I think I'm on the. I've watched the first five,
Yeah,
and after like Saw 2, it's like the more soap opera plot points that are introduced, I start checking out. The autopsy scene, I think at the beginning of Saw 4, I think it's Saw 4
yeah,
with the autopsy.
mhm,
That is one of the only scenes that's actually made me like feel like I could vomit.
yeah. Jigsaw dick.
That
Yeah, I mean full fledged. Four
So,
movies in, and you're getting dick.
so this is 5
4.
or
Well,
Four
I
movies in.
sat down to eat breakfast one day, and I was like, because I think I just finished Saw 3 like the day before, and you know me, I'm just gonna watch Saw while I eat breakfast. Big deal.
Hmm.
So I sit down with my food, and then you just see Jigsaw completely naked, full frontal, everything,
Hmm.
and then they start slicing him up, and then they start like peeling back the skin on his skull, and I'm just sitting there, and it was like literally I had to put my food down, and I was like, I can't do this right now, and I don't get like you know bothered by a movie with anything, and with my job, the little bit that I've actually seen in person didn't bother me that much. But that right there, I was like, I can't do this.
Hmm.
So, but props to the movie for that. I don't remember anything else.
Yeah, other than
Uh,
that, good.
for a time, I, for whatever reason, just got absolutely fixated on the Saw movies. Like, I feel like as far as quality, they definitely dip the more they go on. But there's some hitters like late in the game kind of Friday the 13th, Halloween sort of esque. There's later on. There's some hitters. Um, I remember. You have you guys seen Saw 10? Newest one
Um,
was on.
I don't know what the last Saw I've watched. To be honest with you, I I have not really dove into the Saw universe. Um, the first one I have watched. So on, I can tell you what the plot is or what characters there are. To be honest with you, except for like whatever the last Saw esque movie was, where it was like the detective. I forgot his name.
Oh, was it the Jigsaw with, or no, that wasn't
Um,
Jigsaw. It was Spiral with
Spiral with Chris
Chris
Rock.
Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why, but it was last October, so it was kind of just like my whole October goal was to watch all the Saws, and Saw 10 ad came out around that time, so I didn't get to fully finish it. But after it came out on streaming, I rented it and watched it. And yeah, it's definitely some schlock, but it's just like a violent soap opera. So,
I
and
went
you
with the
get,
unrated. Sorry, go ahead.
well, I was just saying, you get John Kramer Dick 4 movies in, which is some good character development.
I'm gonna rewatch
What
just that movie.
5 minutes in.
what can they even add the rated version of Saw? Like, is it going to be like just a couple extra seconds of gore, or like,
That's a really good question. Yeah, because I mean, you're thinking a 20-year-old movie of a franchise that's so kind of based around that shock factor. It's like, how much have they actually been holding back? I'd be curious as like a comparison of the run times, because that's a really good point. I mean, I feel like that wouldn't be the type of thing where they would hold back. You would kind of think that's something that would have already been brought to light. So it's always interesting whenever they do like unrated cuts or extended versions for anniversaries. But I just thought
because
that was interesting that 20-year-old Saw apparently has an unrated cut.
I mean, it would be nice if they have scenes or death scenes. I hopefully that would like help the story in any way and it makes sense. Maybe it was just like too. They thought back in the day it was too far fetched for them to get into like the movies with it or even a DVD release. It was too extreme, and maybe they held some things out of it. But even then, you said like 20 plus years, it would be kind of hard to really keep that behind the scenes and wait this long for it to be here. So
Yeah,
Kind
like
of
if
interesting
if
to. What
like if the
were you
studio
saying, Chad?
like if the studio hid something, you know what I mean? Like, hey, this is not going to cut it for the movie or the
mhm.
DVD,
Hmm.
and they were just like, okay, well, give it to you now.
I think it'd be kind of interesting to see what they could do for like what was the for the Star Wars original trilogy, like the re-releases, where George Lucas had added like a couple of deleted scenes. What is that word I'm looking for? What is that cut? What is
Director's
the
cut.
special edition?
special edition? Yes. What if they had like a Saw special edition where they just added shit, but like they kept it like relatively like they done. Like, what if they got like the same camera and added all like the gratuitous Saw shit for the first one, just kind of like as a thing for the fans? Because honestly, for the first Saw, it's kept pretty subtle. It's mostly kind of like a detective, like sort of thriller almost. There's not a lot of kills, but it'd be cool if they like expanded upon. I think there was one where there was the guy in the pit of like barbed wire and stuff. So like, what if they kind of reshot that in like an expanded way, really gratuitous, So that'd be kind of cool. I mean, especially for something like Saw. I mean, it's one thing if you're tainting some Star Wars, but I feel like something like Saw, you really have room to play with.
God dang, George Lucas. Fucking
The
hell.
special edition of Empire Strikes Back honestly is superior.
There's ones I like more than yeah.
I mean, personally, I think the addition of the eyelids for the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi for me really kind of comes full circle for the film.
And I know you guys haven't watched it yet. I know Tyler is one episode in, but Rebuilding the Galaxy, the second episode has some Ewoks in it. Top tier Star Wars right there, buddy. Let me tell you, you'll
Dude,
love
I'm
it.
still on the first episode.
I,
I watch about the first 2 minutes and then I'm asleep.
hey, it got
Yeah, I
me.
want to watch.
It's nice so far. It's funny.
I've watched all the other Lego Star Wars specials they've put out the past couple years, so I want to watch this one. It's just I don't know. I just put it on and then I check out immediately.
Good old Disney got you. It's like fucking.
And that's really saying something considering this is canon. Tyler, you watch like at least 10 movies a day, so it's interesting that 20-minute episode can't hold you.
I'm not a TV guy. Like I just can't watch TV that well. Like if I know a show is more than like 3 seasons, I can't start it.
Hmm.
Like I don't know.
There's some things
It's
like
like
that
an
I can't
attention
do.
span thing. Like I
Yeah.
know if I watch a movie, it's an hour and a half, and it's done, or 2 hours. You know,
hmm
but a show, it's 3 seasons. It's got 15 episodes. They're all 40 some minutes. I'm like,
They have some that are like an hour long special, hour and a half. Yeah.
I
can't do
feel that
that.
way. I feel that way. If I start like this, that's mainly the reason I haven't started Game of Thrones. I want to, but then I look at the runtime of the episodes and I'm like, good God, like holy shit. I'm gonna have to
That
actually
shit's so
invest
long.
time into this to actually really
hmm
grasp it in my head. And it's just too long. It just feels like it's too long for me to sit there for each episode because I can't just run through it like I want to. So,
I think I got to season 3 of Game of Thrones, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago.
And it always sucks coming into a show like post it airing, and you know the ending is kind of disappointing. Like you're putting in all this time and investment, and from everything you've heard, which I mean, again, everything always comes up to your own kind of interpretation. But a lot of people shit on the end of Game of Thrones, so I mean, I agree. The runtime is crazy.
That's one reason I can't watch shows like that, because it's like if I want to invest so much time into this like franchise and universe and I know it's over, like there's like nothing else like for the story. Game of Thrones is a little different because they have what House of the Dragon,
yeah.
but like shows and movies, it's just hard for me to get into. Like there's not going to be another one.
Dude, talking about a show that just kind of like ended so abruptly and like open ended, but there's all these questions that they kept building up for. If you guys haven't seen it, don't waste your time on it now. It was really good, but it was called Evil, and it was on Paramount. And it was really good, really good. And then the last episode, they just rushed it all together and said it was the final episode, and the show's done. I was like, holy fuck, you had all these building blocks and then you just like layer the top of it at the end with shit and you're just like, that's it, that's it.
That was like Lovecraft Country. I think it's on
Hmm.
Amazon. That had Jonathan Majors. It looked really interesting to me, and I never started it, but I know it got canceled, so
Yeah, I
there's
stopped
not much
watching
point
it.
anymore.
They
Ye-
canned it.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing where it's like, fuck. I mean, you put so much time in it, and then it gets canceled.
Yep.
Um, One that the later seasons, I mean, it wasn't really just the ending sucked. It's just like the last 3 seasons sucked. Was Dexter, and I remember like that had me like hook, line, and sinker for like the first 5 seasons, and then I think it was like season 6 to 8 just sucked. It was crazy.
One of my favorite
Michaela,
shows.
hmm
Michaela started rewatching Dexter recently because she had also stopped about halfway through the show. I think after the Trinity Killer
Hmm.
season, what,
Yeah,
4 or 5, somewhere through there.
yeah.
And I was
Honestly, I feel like you can leave it off at season 4, and just in your own head canon just say, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Now there's like a whole fucking Dexter universe. There's like
There's
there was like a new Dexter series like a couple years back, which I
yeah.
still have not seen.
Don't
Did
watch
you
it.
see that?
Don't watch it.
Oh, oh
Okay, listen. All
shit.
right, listen. Okay,
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I will be too rough on it right now, but Dexter is
Let's hear it.
like probably my all-time favorite show other than Breaking Bad. How they ended Dexter, driving. Well, Tyler, are you invested in watching it at all? Before I say anything, like spoiler wise, no, Chad.
I already know how
No.
it ends.
Okay, well, it's just like how he fucking drives off into like the tornado bullshit. You're like, oh, okay, whatever that fucking is. Then he survived. I won't say
He's a
too much.
lumberjack.
You know, he's a
Yeah.
lumberjack. I won't spoil
Oh,
anything.
sorry, Tyler.
Well, sorry.
Yeah, Tyler's been asleep for half the show anyways. It's all right.
But
Like
go ahead.
I tried watching like maybe the first like 2 seasons. I was watching like every episode,
hmm
and then it was like she would watch it while she's getting ready in the morning for work. So I just kind of like be in the shower, and I get out and I'm like, oh, what's happening in the show? And she'll be like, well, Deb just did this, and Masuka just said this thing that was really off-putting to this person. Oh, by the way, Dexter's doing this with this person.
Mm.
Washing your ass crack in the morning with like the Dexter theme going on in the background sounds crazy. That might need to be like a new everyday
God.
essential.
It's. I mean, like if you want to continue seeing more Dexter, like I'm all about Dexter, but then how the newest season went, you kind of get disappointed later on in the season, and you're just like, why are we doing it this way? But now it's you have a prequel Dexter coming out, and it's a total different actor, but it's Michael C. Hall as the voice inside his head as Dexter still. That's a plus. But then they are bringing back Michael C. Hall again as Dexter, called Dexter Resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only excited for that because I want to see what route they go. Because what I thought happened was definitive. But if you want to see more Dexter, watch it. But I will say you probably are going to be disappointed by the ending as the original Dexter. So
I find it kind of surprising hearing that because I always thought at least the New Blood would be like relatively well received, just because where the original series left off on was just so bizarre.
mm-hmm.
But it's just wild how they got a whole ass universe for Dexter. It's just kind of really weird. I mean, like he's a good character. It's just strange, you like they keep having kind of misses,
Yeah, when the
Like
plot.
okay.
No, you good.
I just want to say anymore. It seems like every like franchise that they can get a universe out of,
Oh
they
yeah,
want
yeah.
to.
Agatha.
Yeah. And there's another show after Agatha. It's a 3-part series.
For who?
Yo,
I don't know yet. It's gonna be whatever, but they said it's like the second part of a trilogy.
Huh.
Marvel said it somewhere, so.
isn't Aubrey Plaza in Agatha?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm still not watching that shit.
Have y'all seen the rumored cameo? Which kind of threw me off. I don't know if y'all seen it or not. I won't
What
say
is it?
it, but the rumored cameo for Agatha.
No, but I am very curious.
Do you want me to say it, or it's nothing like a spoiler? It's just kind of like out of left field.
That's true.
Did y'all watch Wizards of Waverly Place growing up? On
Oh
Disney
God,
Channel?
no. Oh God, no.
They said Selena Gomez is supposed to be what's her face.
Listen, when you
Shut
said
the
that,
fuck up.
that was not the route that I thought you were gonna take.
No, but it's like, why is that a cameo in the movie?
Oh no.
In a Marvel
Chad, you
movie?
got some sleeper lines, bro.
Thank you, thank you.
You tripped me out with that. That's fucking hilarious.
It's crazy.
Dude, if Selena Gomez fucking pops up with her little wand, I swear to God, I'm turning it off right
It's
then
a
there.
rumored cameo in the show.
The naked ass thick mommy witch from The Witch is gonna cameo in it too, from what I've heard. And Sabrina.
And now Selena.
Jesus
Absolutely.
Christ.
That's amazing. Wow.
And she's supposed
Um,
to be playing the character from the show. It's supposed to be like a multiversal show, and I
Mm-mm.
don't get it.
Mm-mm.
Any more witches you can think of, they might show up.
so for my next MCU rewatch, which would take at least 2.5 months, I need to include Wizards of Waverly Place on that as well.
That's
Got it.
nice.
Got
Any
it.
witches you have, throw it on there.
hmm Something I watched here recently, which it was only the first episode, but me and my buddy Logan had watched, was the new Batman Amazon series, Cape Crusader. I know y'all talked about that a little bit, but I watched the first episode and I really fucked with it.
Did you ever finish it, Avery? Let's just get past that question. Let's move on.
Dog, I thought you would really
Listen,
like
man,
that.
I love Batman, but listen, Chad knows more than anybody, and Tyler's starting to know. When I start something, I have such a bad time because my brain, there's so many things I want to watch and catch up on, and then I just end up with the conclusion of, I'm going to do something else, and then I lose track of everything. So I'm getting there. I will finish it.
Well, I feel like for a series like that, I mean, like how many episodes did you get in?
I'm more than
Two.
halfway.
Yeah, well, I feel like something like that would kind of is like so appealing about a show like that is it has that kind of episodic feel, like you don't have to watch it all in one
Mm,
go, at least what it seems like there's like two or three part episodes, because I know the first one's kind of the ping one and the second one's the ping one, but it's kind of like the animated series where every episode is kind of like its own thing. So I've been kind of more drawn to that as opposed to like a big long
mm.
narrative where you have to follow the entire thing, and it does tend to get rough. So I feel you on that.
That's the one thing I didn't like about the show is I wish there was more connection other than the Harvey Dent stuff. Like I
Mhm.
wish they would just been building stuff up in the background.
Do y'all like that dude that voices Batman? I think he
I think
doesn't do a bad job.
he's
That's
sick.
pretty good.
Yeah, I liked him.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. Um, did you like the? I forget. Well, the penguin's in the first episode, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like her?
Uppies.
Oh yeah, she does
Whatever
kind
her
of
name was.
kind of reminds me now that you say that of like the Resident Evil person. I didn't really think of
Lady Domitrescu.
Lady
how
Gaga.
tall she is. Yep. Mm.
And I loved how like all the dudes were swooning after her. Like I thought that was cool. I thought it was like kind of a unique spin. Like it didn't feel
Mm.
forced at all. It seemed really natural. Like I don't know. It just seemed to fit in that universe. And I like how they kind of changed up the standard characters. Like I'm only one episode in, but I know they do some different stuff with Harley Quinn and
Mm-hmm.
seemingly a few other characters. Seems like the relationship between Bruce and Alfred, at least from what I caught in the first episode, kind of seemed not as father and son. Sort of, it kind of seemed more like, he is his butler, like kind of just like business, straight business.
Oh, that was pretty
It'll
funny.
grow as the season goes.
Wipe my ass. Fucking fuck off, Alfred type energy. But I like chubby Alfred.
I don't.
Oh. Oh.
I just anytime I see Alfred, I just in my head I'm thinking Michael Caine. So like any other Alfred, I'm like fuck. Like Andy
Okay.
Serkis just was not it for me. I mean, like he wasn't bad, but like just Michael Caine, I'm just always gonna see him as Alfred.
The Alfred that I think of the most, like I guess what would be my Alfred is the Michael Keaton Alfred, that old guy.
Because he was Alfred for all of them like movies prior to Batman Begins, right? Is
Uh,
that the same guy?
I think so. Maybe. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they stuck with a few movies with the same Alfred. I can't
hmm
remember if it was like a guy that looked very similar or if he was the guy all the way through. But he was one of my favorites. I just liked how he was very fatherly. He was very soft spoken and there for you if you really needed him.
Chad, Tyler, what's your all's Alfred? Definitive Alfred? Alfred?
Michael Caine.
universe.
You fuckers.
Well, I've not watched a Batman movie, so just skip past all
You've
that.
never watched a Batman movie.
I've seen parts of Dark Knight Rises.
I'm gonna unfriend you right now.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I've skipped a lot of movies over the years, so
It's
That's
amazing.
crazy.
Hey, this just means for future episodes, Chad, he's just gonna have like all the fucking insight into
like how we
everything.
talked about Saw a little bit ago. Never seen a Saw movie.
Do you know what movie you did watch?
The Witch.
The Witch.
The Witch. The Witch.
The Witch.
Well, should we get into The Witch?
Yeah, go ahead. What
I
you
want to
got?
get into Black Phillip more, but
The what?
what?
What you
You're a
say?
little quiet.
What you say?
I said I'd like to discuss Black Phillip.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, let me pull up the receipts of a certain review for The Witch. Actually, there's two different reviews from the same person, which I do find interesting, and I would kind of like to bring attention to. This was December 18th, 2022. The whole time I wanted one of the older children to punt the little children.
Retweet.
Yep. Don't disagree. September 14th, 2024. I want to taste his butter.
Oh.
Tyler, that was Tyler, by the way. What do you mean by that? His butter.
Well, like at the end scene, spoilers. But the end scene, whenever her whole family's wiped out, and she just goes to Black Phillip, and he's like, "What is it like? Does thou want to taste thy butter?" Or something like
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
That sounds like a line.
Language. That's just always what is like stuck with me.
Dang.
Do you want to live deliciously? I think is another one.
Kind of speaking chronologically as far as what my notes, because I was trying to write notes for it throughout. The beginning, when Sam disappeared, that was really well done. I feel like I remember I think it was the trailer for The Witch originally. That was one of the big clips that was kind of being played throughout, keeping everything pretty ambiguous. But that one clip is, it's one for your sibling, an infant being just like totally just up and gone out of nowhere. And then you follow the camera up and you see kind of where you can maybe tell a track of where it, like,
Yeah.
the kid
Something
had
about that.
gone. It was really cool. I mean, because you get a little bit of brush moving, you get like some leaves and stuff moving. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know about you all. Chad, this was your first watch, yeah?
Yes.
What was and I want to hear everybody's. I mean, just as far as how it held up for everybody too. What did you all think of like that opening scene?
I enjoyed it. I liked because you could see the suspense was building with the whole like peekaboo scene, and then it was just gone, and I was just like, okay, like obviously something's at play here. She didn't just lose the baby. So, and then I liked how they were like, oh, it's a wolf, and they just disbelieved, the whole time, like, oh no, there's nothing out there. So,
Tyler, how did you think it held up?
Well, the movie overall, one thing that I feel like I appreciated a lot more was the father dynamic with the family. Because recently, with the actor who plays him is in the First Omen,
Hmm.
so I completely forgot that. So I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, just like him, like when he's out with the son and they're trying to hunt, he's like, you need to do this in the eyes of the Lord, blah 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 blah. but I'm also pretty crappy because I sold that cup.
Silver chalice.
Yeah, or whatever.
Also, let his what I guess oldest daughter take the blame pretty much of it all.
Avery, how did the opening scene hit for you, like being like a father and everything? Because I feel like that's just, I don't know why, but I feel like on a rewatch, I don't know if it's just where I watched it in the beginning, when I think I was like 16, 17, just to now, just kind of feeling like the levity of everything, and just especially how archaic
Mm-mm.
their whole way of living was back then. But again, like from a inside of a parent, how did that hit for you?
I think
The disappearance.
it's oh dude, it's definitely it's being 26 now, and I don't remember. I know I was in high school when I watched it. And, it doesn't hit you as hard back then, especially like you're figuring yourself out, and now with a kid, with kids, it's definitely more heart wrenching because it's not only like the kid disappearing. You're like being a parent, your head's thinking of like all the worst possibilities that could ever fucking happen. Like you got like it's like a wave after wave of like this could be going on. It could be too late. You don't really know what to fucking do, and it definitely hits harder nowadays. I do think the movie still holds up pretty well. I love the whole folk lore of it. I've always loved that type of stuff. I love like the witchcraft stuff, and I've always wanted to go to like Salem, if I'm saying it right, or if it's under a different name. I know it's Salem, but
Yeah.
I always wanted to go there. But looking back at being a father now and just seeing that, it definitely makes your stomach turn a little bit. Like even I'll give you an example. Like a kid disappearing and it being your own is definitely fucking heartbreaking. But like you know, being at my job, they had a code Adam. Like not even a week ago, and there was a kid supposedly just fucking missing. And so it's just like dad instinct. Like automatically, you're like, if that was my fucking kid, I would be everywhere. So I'm just going down, everywhere looking. So because me thinking of like, if that was my kid, fucking, I'm having like the worst possible thoughts, and it would be the worst possible shame and guilt. So I can only imagine what they're feeling if they're the same type of parent. So it's definitely stronger feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever that scene at first happened, I mean, I was I was just so caught up into it, and something that's, I feel like, that's cool about a film that takes place in a time period that's so far off from where we are currently now is it hits on so many topics that are still prevalent
Mm,
in our lives today. I
yeah.
mean, you're not human if you don't get that feeling of whenever you hear that a child is missing. I
Mm,
mean, that is like instinctual to our core of feeling that. And something that kind of seemed really, it just fucked with me. Just the how the family just didn't believe Thomason
Mm-hmm.
throughout the film, and just that level of disdain that you could feel. I love how it wasn't just kind of outright until later on. You just are drawn out in that animosity between the mother Catherine and Thomason, because to Catherine, Thomason was probably just being negligent, and a wolf snatched up Samuel, which it's just so, just imagine being in that time period and your baby brother just disappears right in front of
mm.
you, and your whole family does not believe you. That just messes with me so bad.
Yeah, you can't. It's not like nowadays. You can't just fucking pick up a phone and then rely on the police or anything. You're just like,
Guys, you're never gonna believe what just
yeah,
happened.
yeah. It's just like you're on your own. You're solely in that moment, and you have to figure out something, or just it goes cold. I mean, there's so many more possibilities of things going wrong. Even though there's nuts out today, just without any contact outside of like your area or surrounding. That's a bit scary on its own. So
Um, so as far as my notes, another thing that I written down, I am curious is about this. A little bit more levity. So, did anybody else watch this with subtitles, or was that just me?
I watch it with subtitles.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I watch everything with subtitles.
Can't
Can't
hear
hear
it.
it without my subtitles. Yeah. Free, did you watch it with subtitles, or did you just understand that old folk
I think
dialect?
I think my subtitles were on. I know it was like very like sometimes like the old style stuff. I'm pretty sure it was on there.
Mhm.
I just get sucked into it sometimes.
Yeah, I think it seemed a lot more accessible. I don't know if like my brain's just kind of gained more wrinkles as the years have gone on, but it definitely seemed like more accessible as far as like the dialogue, and it had some really pretty dialogue. The kind of like religious old way of speaking. It really just kind of like poetry. It just kind of kept bouncing off of each other and
Hmm.
stuff.
For me, it felt like the volume was very like quiet at times, and then like it was just super loud. So this was like, let me just roll with subtitles, so that way I can make sure I hear everything.
And I feel like it does good of not really. There's no jump scares. I feel like every music cue is kind of accompanied with a really striking visual,
Hmm.
and the like kind of operatic um, vocals of like the women singing and it leading up to certain situations, like whenever Caleb is encountering the witch in the woods. That scene is really eerie. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that there's so many scenes in the film, even though that I've seen it like one or two times before, just still make your skin crawl. I mean, you just feel uncomfortable, which is so cool about how a film holds up is just how kind of like the same with Long Legs, like we were talking previously, just how it holds up on rewatches
Hmm.
and stuff that you gain whenever you rewatch it, like you know a perspective that you get when you're older or when you're a parent and stuff. I feel like something like that
Hmm.
definitely applies to this.
So the only thing that really got me was where they were like building up the suspense of Caleb and the dog that were like running off, and then it just kind of like cuts to the dog where it's been taken, and I was just like, oh okay, like caught me off guard just a little bit. I knew they were going to be goners anyway when they went that way in the woods, but I was just like, okay.
Yeah, whenever I saw the dog, definitely forgot what happened to it. I was thinking about pulling up does the dog die.com, but I toughed it out. Um gosh. Um Another thing that was weird, I mean, just as far as adding to the discomfort of the whole experience, which I feel like Robert Eggers is really good of just, adding multiple layers of stuff that just makes you go like, what? The weird incestual vibes are, present throughout. Very odd.
Yep.
Mm.
It made me very uncomfy.
No, so I just went to go feed my cats really quick, and I was putting on my headset again. I was hearing you say like this other thing that was really uncomfy. I'm like, I'm trying to beat him to it. Or just
Yeah.
like whenever he takes like the shot down her shirt,
Yeah, I was like,
and then later on when like they're out in the field, and you could just tell that like he tried to get another one in, and then he's like,
dude, and like just the way she's acting and like how he might perceive that, it was so fucking gross. I mean, that is like almost as uncomfortable as like some of the scenes that I want to get into more, but I'm trying to like keep it kind of like chronological because I'm like going off my notes, but like holy shit, that shit was so just, it's just never gets not uncomfy and easier to watch.
but I also feel bad for the kid at the same time. I mean, like Grant note like what his thoughts are
Oh
bad.
yeah, but I mean, you're like talking again like a completely different time from what we're in, and like, dude has probably not seen like any other kind of like women other than the ones like in the plantations that they had lived in, and then like the females that he's grown up around.
Well, there's like in that scene, whenever him and his dad are out in the woods, and he's kind of like, "Well, do you think Samuel went to hell?" And then the kid's like, I've not atoned for my sins, So obviously, I feel like that kid has guilt and shame probably
Mm.
for these feelings also that maybe he has that
I didn't even think of that.
that was what like my thought to it, because I mean, off the top of my head, I don't remember anything else that I feel like he would feel guilt or shame over.
Yeah, other than no, I mean definitely that. I think you're absolutely right, but just kind of like adding on to it. Well, I was gonna say as far as lying for his dad, but I think that was after that scene. So no, I think you're correct. I mean that's that's crazy. I mean I didn't even think of that, but yeah, the first shot at the cleave is very icky. All right, any further comments on the incest?
I was gonna say, like, I wonder how, so like in history, there's a lot of, oh, you didn't want to talk about that. He's like, I'm out.
Zach, I can go on that one.
I was wondering like how common it is for incestuous things to happen back in those days, because you like you said you don't really have that broad. In some cases, you don't have that broad communication with other people. So I wonder how often that would occur, within your homes and such.
I'd probably say very commonly because where everyone's like spread out depending on what part of the country you're in and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So
Can't just drive a car down or
yeah,
sext or anything like that. So yeah, and that's not an excuse for anything. I don't want that to come across of any way of like,
exactly.
yeah. I just want to say I feel like back in those days it is more common than we say, because I mean you had, I mean I'm sure for a long period of time it was common. Not saying it's okay, just wanted to make that clear on here. I'm just having a conversation. Just saying. Jesus.
We fully support it. Fully
Yeah.
support it.
Yeah. Hell. Well, I don't know which note he had left. That son of a bitch left. No. I was thinking though, like I didn't think about it when he was talking about this stuff. Incest didn't make me think about this, but Hereditary, that's kind of like a witchy movie. I didn't think about until now. So that would have been something to watch.
Hmm.
It's
I
been a
like
minute.
Hereditary. I need to rewatch.
It's a good movie. I think I rewatched it years ago. What is it?
Nothing you were.
No,
I don't
I thought Tyler was saying something.
Oh,
even.
All right, we still talking about incest?
Yeah.
If you want,
sadly not.
Okay, perfect. But anyways, going back to the notes that I had, and if anybody had any other notes that I'm missing stuff out on, feel free to jump in. But this is something I wrote down. I would be rightfully pissed too if I lived in this family, because there was that dinner scene where it looked like all they had was like a tortilla, and they were just like ripping off pieces of this tortilla and just like passing it around. I was just like, holy fuck, I could not make it. My hunger headaches would just like make me cease to exist.
I feel like in a lot of old timey movies, you see that a lot. They just kind of have like bread and they start ripping it up and eating it and such. Just like incest, I wonder how common that was. Just
Hmm.
bread. Being the main source.
So, like, what do you think would be that family's reaction if you gave them like a chicken enchilada burrito from Taco Bell? Do you think their fucking
Oh,
insides would just like
oh.
immediately like start melting?
Insides and outside would start melting. They would just explode of gooey, stuff. So
They would be thinking the huh?
Are you giving them just one burrito, or are you gonna give
it just
the family
A
one?
burrito for each.
Okay, I was gonna say if you're just giving one, I don't think it's getting past the first person.
no.
Like
You just
that
give
I
first
them
want
one,
them.
one.
I want
oh,
them all to take a bite of it.
okay.
First
Yeah.
thing I thought of is in Friday 4 or 6, maybe one of the early Fridays, there's like the damn enchiladas.
Those damn enchiladas. It was Friday,
Yeah.
part 5.
Okay, 5. I completely skipped over that one, and that was
Yeah.
the one I said I wanted to watch the other day. Like,
Love that. I want to watch that one again as well. But yes, bread. Um, whenever Catherine and William were talking, I believe at this point it was whenever they were downstairs, I believe, and the children were upstairs. They were talking about um, what led them to this land and just talking about, Catherine was expressing just how, you know, un like just how it does not feel right where they're at. And I kind of wrote down because I feel like this definitely applies for Will is like blind faith leads them to an ungodly land. I mean, they went from a comfortable place in the plantation where I mean, this was like kind of like the part of the film where I like kind of at least picked up on a lot of the stuff. So I mean, I could be missing out, but they were in the plantation and they had to leave because there was differences in faith, and he couldn't put that aside, and that leads them directly into the wolves' den for all this satanic shit. And it's just really interesting how much they preach the word of God and how much they follow it, and it ends up leading them to their deaths.
Hmm. It's kind of a neat way to think about it. You're so far into it that you get led astray, and then you're at a place where it's so ungodly, it really traps you. I didn't really think about it that way.
Plus, pretty much brings the devil like right to your doorsteps, and
Hmm.
Black Phillip.
Yeah.
So another thing was okay. So did Black Phillip? Did they like inherit Black Phillip from that land, or did Black Phillip come with them?
I don't actually remember.
When was Black Phillip's first appearance?
Very early, I think.
Yeah, because it's like the girl, like
They
the
were singing a song
young
about Black
kids.
Phillip.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if he's got a Wikipedia.
Yeah, like
He's got
there was a like people saying in comments before I've seen a long time ago where they were not just like singing to annoy Black Phillip, but it was almost like a rhythm type chant. And I didn't go too far deep into it, but it was like as if they were like kind of chanting with him and he was going along with them, kind of leading him in a way. I don't know how much truth that is to it, but that would have been like a nice little touch of them, kind of like a sadistic way of like these two innocent people just kind of chanting and singing, or with the devil around them. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that definitely saying that. I mean, yeah, that definitely seemed like that's what it was. I mean, it was kind of like a chant, but it's almost kind of like a ring around the rosy type thing where
hmm
at first it comes off as innocent, but then like the more you kind of delve into it, you're like, oh shit.
hmm
according to the Robert Eggers wiki, the devil took the form of Black Phillip and then was acquired by the family,
hmm.
Okay.
and they moved to the plantation.
Mm.
Crazy.
When they moved to the plantation, when they
Yeah,
moved from.
when they move when they've been banished from the
Okay.
plantation. Sorry, yeah, banished from the plantation to their
I was
new
trying to
home.
think like that wagon that they left the plantation from. Like, did they have any animals on them with it?
Right. I mean, and I feel like too, if you're a goat you've known for quite a while starts doing some demonic shit, I mean, are you like, that's not my goat? You know? Like I feel like there's like a false sense of security that we'd get
That's
with
not
that.
Black Phillip.
That's not my goat.
And Black Phillip be kind of I mean, what the fuck?
I will say, ever since I've like been to any like zoos or like petting zoos or anything, and I've seen a goat, I've never been the same. I just always think of the witch.
That's
I
the
don't think
devil.
we'll be the same after.
Hmm. Um, and I said, Oh, I wrote children listening to the parents argue, and I wrote a frowny face. That hurt.
Well, I mean, like Thomason, she's sitting there listening, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna give her away because she'll make us some money."
Gonna sell that bitch off, and she's like, "Fuck."
It's like my
But
youngest sibling's a witch. My next to age sibling wants to smash. My parents want to give me away. I understand why she ends up becoming a part of a witch cult. Like,
Honestly, good for her. That's what I was gonna say. Good for her, because jumping around a little bit at the end, whenever the mother is talking to Thomas, and she was like, "I've seen all of your like whoring looks to your brother." I'm just like, I really like she missed the entire like brother going through his weird shit, and it's just always putting the blame on the fucking chick. It's just so I really did feel like, yeah, good for her by the end. Um
That was the only death I was like happy that happened. Was her, the mother.
I mean, yeah, she was going through like two losses throughout the majority of the film, but yeah, she was a bit of a drag, not very much of a comic relief character, very sad, very grieving. I wrote down Thomason and Caleb going into the woods. Um, that was really well played, and just going off the top of my head, a scene that is like kind of that stuck with me for whatever reason and just like kind of hit this time around was whenever they were talking about Caleb and Thomas, and whenever they were talking about um, a day that they had spent in England where um, the dog, I can't remember his name, but he would sit in a spot where the sun would shine in through the windows. And then them just talking about having windows seemed kind of like a commodity. Dog would sit in a spot where the sun would gleam in through the windows. Um, the dog would jump up on the table, and the father made like a funny comment about cooking him up and stuff. And she kind of seemed like she was longing for those kind of memories, and she asked like, "You don't remember those?" And he was like, "No, not really." I mean, that just seemed, again, just I felt really fucking bad for Thomason throughout this entire film because it just seemed like she was really longing for, maybe when she was like of Caleb's age or just younger and didn't have to be constantly worried about being pawned off and stuff. So that scene kind of made me extra sad.
She was alone most of the movie too. Like the only one that really supported her was the dad, and then Caleb there, did as well. But at the same time, why is Caleb supporting her? Because he's taking a look.
like a great for like if like an outside perspective, it is like a great choice for Black Phillip to really, um, I guess, have her turn
Infect that.
into, yeah. She's like
Yeah.
alone, isolated. She doesn't feel like she's a part of this family. Her family doesn't support her, or they're just gonna pawn her off. And he sees
Black
that
people.
probably, yeah, sees that as a prime opportunity to really do something.
It's really cool. I didn't think about it from that aspect. I mean, he's obviously going to prey on the weak, and for what she's been going through. I mean, family was really just thrown her to the wolves. So again, I mean, you can only poke the bear so many
Hmm.
times. Um, Another comment that I wrote down is "bro is horny," and under that I wrote in parentheses Caleb. I don't really know what part that was referring to, but
Oh shit.
you name it.
how do we feel about the straight up whenever we see the witch in the more youthful form laying the smackdown on him?
I'm like, I ain't talking first, son.
All
I'm the
right,
only one that
I'll
talks.
go.
When I was
I'll
watching
go.
this, I was getting Tangled vibes.
Hmm,
In
I
Tangled.
in
was
the in the sense of like the witch, because there's like the couple scenes where it like shows her like older or like a more like stereotypical ugly witch,
I can get
and
that.
then you in that scene you see her more as a young, youthful vibe, and all I thought was the mother entangled
mhm.
switchered.
It's like what the power of
Not
youth, and then pretty much like after that runs out, she ages rapidly.
yeah,
Oh,
because I know
she's
no correlation to the witch
yeah.
in that sense, but imagery wise,
For me, for whatever reason, the imagery that came to my mind was the hot lesbian werewolves from Trick or Treat. I don't know why. Um, what I was kind of commenting on earlier, whenever the like crazy kind of orchestral like chorus kind of came in, and that rising tension and that slow pan you're getting in, I love the set design that they had done for that scene where it was kind of the house like built into a mountain, like that sort of cottage. And you just get the door open and you get this woman, and Caleb freaking is just so, sexually frustrated, to put it lack for better words. But that, I mean, it was just so well done as far as like build up and then payoff, because like you all said, whenever she, you kind of get that hit of the old hand. I mean, she's basically got her victim already, got him through the power of lust. And you know
Hmm.
Yeah, seeing what they want to see. Um,
what did you all think of like the build up and stuff leading up to that? I mean, I thought that was just like fucking crazy.
I think it was perfect. Honestly, I loved every minute of it.
Also, when she first stepped out of the house, I was like, he's pretty much caught now. Like, there's no getting away for him. So,
Mm.
But yeah, Batty Witch, I would probably fold.
I'll say.
Yeah, we all be folding.
Yeah. Um, then after that, I didn't have a note written down for this, but I mean, it's gonna be a something that sticks out anytime you watch it. Is whenever she's going to put the goats to sleep, which I guess consists of her just like patting them and like singing to them, which is kind of wholesome. Whenever Caleb shows up outside and dude is like fully naked in like a downpour, that's fucking crazy.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Listen, that's just my kink right there. I'm just like, nah, I
Just
just
being
can't.
nude in a downpour.
Yeah,
Naked in the rain.
I
just
mean, there probably is something quite liberating about that, I would say.
naked in the rain. Fuck yeah, probably,
Hmm.
maybe.
But that leads into him on his back. And okay, so what's your all's insight on this? You all are smart. So were they like trying to get rid of like a fever or something whenever they cut a slit into his head and like start draining the blood? Is that what that was?
Hmm.
That was my assumption, or they were trying to maybe like rid the spirit out of his mind or something, or like the evil out of
Mm-hmm.
his brain.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I can think of is like maybe, oh, we'll drain the blood, that'll drain it away. So,
Yeah, I feel yeah, it could probably go both ways. I mean, like back in the day, like for example, I don't know how true it is, like, and you see it like wrestling, how like you cut wherever here, and it's like a lot more blood up here in the head. Maybe they found that as like a reason to do it. There's a lot more blood for whatever purpose, but there could also be like weird spiritual type thing of like Chad was saying, like get rid of a bad spirit type thing. So I'm kind of split on that one. I really wouldn't know.
Yeah, and I mean a temperature, a fever that you would get, all the warmness is in your head. So
Hmm.
either way, I always think stuff like that, like kind of like the medical scenes and like The Exorcist and stuff. That always messes with me. Um, and then that leads to Caleb throwing up an apple, which is sick. It just always, I just hate the idea of that. You know,
I have a
Oh,
bad experience throwing up apples.
oh, oh. Okay.
Don't mix Gatorade with apples.
Don't mix a Gatorade with apple.
So if there's one takeaway from this episode, it's don't mix Gatorade with apples.
Yeah, and we need more buckets that look like hands. That's one.
And the art popcorn bucket does come out when, Chad?
I think it was the 28th, 26th, somewhere in there.
Oh, I thought it was this Friday. I might have actually been wrong on my assumption. um, but yes, him throwing up the apple, gross. That whole scene where he is starting to basically, I don't know if that is like a spirit that's kind of. What was your all's interpretation of that? Whenever he was like speaking to God, I mean, was that all him, or was that like a spirit kind of being sort of being more so um like a mocking sort of way? I mean, that just seemed like some really wild stuff to be coming out of a kid that young. But I mean, I don't know. Did y'all think?
I don't know if it was really him. I think it was like a spell he was under, trying to, like you said, make fun of and mock their religion. Like nothing's going to save him. And back to the apple, the reason, like, I don't know if it like ever said why they had an apple come out of his mouth, but it kind of gave me like, didn't he lie about trying to go find apples with his father, and then he comes back with an apple?
Hmm.
That, and as you were saying that, another thing that I was thinking of was like Adam and Eve giving into temptation.
Like lust kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
he
the
wanted,
fruit, and it was an apple.
I was
So
thinking too, like with his sister, the whole incest thing, and then he goes into the woods and he finds a woman.
holy shit.
Mind
Dad,
blown.
you need to go to film school.
Yeah. No, they need to just watch this, honestly. As we look up the Robert
Talking
Eggers
lessons here.
wiki.
I mean, that's a
Talk,
nice point out, honestly.
It was just like a connection
really
that I made with
was.
the apple and the apple, and then after thinking about it, it was like those two put together too.
That's really cool. Yeah, I didn't even put that together. That's awesome.
Temptations and lies.
hmm
Kind of his sins.
Yeah, his sins, his shame, guilt.
It it does hit heavy, like a kid's perspective on like heaven or hell, especially whenever your parents make it like it is the forefront of your entire life, especially back then. I mean, because him asking about Samuel going to hell, and I mean, uh, there was just like so much stuff where it just kind of adds like a different level of like weight to the entire thing, because it's. I mean, I can only imagine what they had done to Caleb whenever he was brought in. I mean, we saw that Samuel was made into baby jam, but fucking Caleb, I mean, got an apple shoved into him somehow.
Poisoned, bewitched. Like he didn't have a good time.
Legit, yeah. Um, and then, dude, fuck those kids, Mercy and whatever that fucking kid's name was, like the boy and the girl, them
The
going
punter.
against. Very punchable, very puntable. Tyler's review really hit the nail on the head because I was like, "Holy fuck, these kids are annoying and they're assholes." Like again, I just feel for Thomason because they're over there like playing dead, and like the mom is like already like, "Yeah, fuck my oldest daughter, like what a bitch," and like the kids are like, "Yeah, we're sibling." Mm.
Yeah.
It'd be
But that
it'd be nice, like to think that maybe Black Phillip had more of
A hold on them.
a hold on them since they're so pure. Like maybe there was like a surrounding feel for them compared to the older people because they're not as I don't know. You can't really draw them in as easily. It takes longer, and kids, it's kind of like quicker. I don't know. It's just like a quick little thought.
And it's hard to
No,
tell
I
if
mean,
Like,
Black Phillip, like, told them and, like, hey,
mhm.
you follow my word, you'll
Hmm.
never be hungry. You'll have all you want. Stuff like that.
and in horror movies or paranormal things anyway, it always seems like, the demonic force is always pulling on the young, usually
Hmm.
first, since they're more susceptible.
Yeah.
I'm glad you all brought that up because that was something that like constantly was like kind of bouncing in my mind was like, so are these kids just, being like mischievous kids, or is there like, a demonic element in play with this? Because at a certain point, it just seems so, wrong and just like you're not sticking up for your own. It's really crazy, and it's cool that y'all were kind of on that same wavelength as well. I mean, because I feel like that's another thing that can be led up to interpretation is how much of it was just kids being like kids, and then their the persuasion by Black Phillip.
I feel like it's one thing that it leaves that up to your interpretation, since if we've been able to see the family more before the
The
events of the
plantation
movie,
stuff, yeah.
yeah, to see actually how like the family dynamic worked. But instead, we're just shown that the two youngest kids are just little brats the entire
Hmm.
time.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, from the beginning, I mean, and the more I think of it, it could just be the land that they have kind of come upon because as soon as they make it onto the land, Mercy starts talking about witches, and there's all this stuff. I mean, I feel like maybe just overall, it's just the presence of the land, or at least that's how I interpret it. Because I mean, you got the crops, you got the overall change in morale. I mean, just it's crazy. The more we talk about it, the more I'm like, wow, there's so much that you can kind of like dive into with it. I mean, like you said, Chad, with the apple and stuff, that's like nuts. I mean, so much.
And you probably sit here and think about more too, like little details, like because it's all the movie's pretty much all about sin and trying to, I guess, make up for it or like putting it on display. So like if you think
Mhm.
of something like early movie, like in the movie Thomason Sins, like what are some things she did that came back and affected her later in the movie?
Another thing that I'm getting kind of in the latter half of my notes, but one scene that was real visceral to me was whenever Catherine, the mother, woke up and she sees Caleb, and Caleb is holding Samuel, and she is being swayed by the devil, and she is brought into like, oh, I just want my children back. So she's sitting there and she's holding Samuel, and as we see in the beginning of the movie, she's like going to breastfeed him, and then we are getting these intercuts that like it gives me chills just thinking about it because you are getting, and I want to hear what you all thought about this like symbolically. You're getting the inside of the like the little like shack for like the chickens, like the little coop and stuff for the animals, where the children have been trapped because Will is paranoid and stuck them in there. So you're getting that, and the children just see this witch sucking on the fucking teats of this goat, and then that's being interspliced with the mother getting her fucking like breasts pecked like apart by a
Mhm.
crow is just so unsettling to me as far as like a visual sort of aspect, because not only are you getting the witch and you're just getting behind and you're just seeing this like unnatural presence, and these children are just like an arm's reach away, And then you're getting this mother that is thinking that, she's like just looking in pure bliss as this is happening. And it is just totally like the pinnacle of like satanic.
Hmm. Thinking of the witch and the goat, it's almost like saying symbolic wise, like it's far fetched, but almost as if like kind of going back. I know Black Phillip is a goat, but he's a male. So a witch sucking on the tit of a goat almost makes me feel like this is what gives me life. This is what gives me everything I need to survive. So it's almost like cult wise and satanic wise, this is everything I need. And now the the crow on the breast, that almost feels like it's taking, you know, through her thinking it's bliss. Maybe it's like symbolic for taking away motherhood because your kids are getting, killed and cursed and whatnot. And then, but she's blissfully thinking that she's doing something in the right way, but the crow pecking is taking away her motherhood and taking away what she thinks right in some sense. But that's the only things I could really think of about symbolically that really kind of go off in my brain.
Great points, yeah.
I'm also thinking like whether it be Black Phillip or just the demonic presence, you know, the same way that the crow is pecking at the mom, or the witch, you know, is sucking on the goat. It's more so just like this negative energy is just sucking out everything from the family itself.
Mm.
You know, any symbolic version of a normal, happy family is just being withdrawn and just being replaced with the lies, the deception that's going on.
Chad, that being, the first time you laid eyes on that scene, I mean, was there any was there anything that was specifically kind of like going on in your mind, like just as far as it being like, holy shit, this is like wild, or like what was like kind of your initial thoughts, or if you had any other sort of like hearing us talk about it, any other like sort of interpretations on it?
I'd say pretty much the same that they said.
Mm.
Um, the thing that shocked me more was the whole crow situation more than her sucking on the goat. Because to me, it just felt like they said, she needs that some sort of symbolism of like, this is all I need, just suck on this goat and, you know, kind of get everything ready for some sort of like maybe ritual or something, you know what I mean? To like, gather the family to finish them. Um, but the crow thing was kind of a little crazy.
Yeah, Tyler, I didn't think about it in that aspect as well. You saying about, or was it Avery? You talking about the mother being kind of like broken down. I mean, like a mom is like in a lot of aspects of a family, and I would say probably in this one as well, is like kind of like the backbone of like a family. So the mother finally being swayed by the devil, um, it just really hits. And I feel like it's one of those scenes where the kids are far away, and Will is asleep, and the mother is finally being caught up in all of this, you know, demonic shit. um, yeah, good insight on that. I mean, that was just. I mean, that's a really wild scene. Um, and then that leads to that certain scene with Black Phillip and Will. Does anybody care to comment on that? Did anybody have any takeaways of that?
It's one of my favorite scenes overall of the movie because, he's just walking out and then just, you know, rammed in the side by Black Phillip.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny because he kind of bitched Black Phillip out in the beginning of the movie, and I like my head canon tells me like Black Phillip the entire movie was like, yeah, remember when you were like handling me by my horns?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, I'll show you. Yeah,
Like he picked up the axe and he was like, I have no fight left in me. Let me just toss it. It's over.
Oh yeah.
I think it's kind of like ironic too. I mean, I don't know if there's any like deep layer shit into this, or it's just kind of more or less ironic. Whenever he gets gored into that ginormous pile
Hmm.
of firewood. That I just love how he's a really good character in this movie. How just anytime dude would get frustrated, he would just start chopping some wood. I'm just like, yeah, dude. But yeah, that ended up like, just imagine all that firewood just being dropped on your head after you just got gored twice by your goat. That would suck.
Seems like a lot of like the family members died by like whatever they were mostly focusing on in the movie. Like you said, the firewood. Caleb with the apple. I don't really
Damn.
get that with the mother.
Well, the
And
mother and like the food and stuff, because that was like
yeah.
kind of like the item that they would use for like getting the corn and stuff. And
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Whenever the mother died, I mean, again, I was like, Thomason, I mean, I don't really blame you, because the mother immediately started to like choke her and
Hmm.
stuff. She was finally like, yeah, my husband's dead. I know he would be the one to stop me from doing this, so let me. And she got a sickle to the dome. Um, Whenever the devil actually, made himself present at the end, and I was actually watching it on my desktop, and I had headphones on. And that dude that actually like done the performance of the devil, just that was crazy. I mean,
Hmm.
did y'all have any like thoughts whenever you were first like watching that, as far as anything with him?
Want to
I'm kind of
chat?
glad
You
they
just mean
showed like a whole body image of him. It was just more of like implied, like he's right here. Just you see like a hand and like some what was it, like boots, I think.
Yeah, he had like some damn like Western boots, dude. He had like some spurs on his boots and the black leather glove. You feel the black glove, or you can hear the black glove just kind of like press up against her skin. Yeah,
Hmm.
but yeah, then that leads to her disrobing and going to the nice big womanly campfire at the end. And they all started floating and lived happily ever after. Again, good for her. I can't really blame her. I mean, her family really kind of just like dogged her the entire movie. And the last note I wrote was, at least she seemed happy at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, she's free from
free from her abusive
everything
kind
that
of
plagued her.
family.
Like, I kind of guess like she kind of got what she wanted at the end. She's free of it all, even though you know, it's not probably the best thing to jump into. But now she can do whatever the fuck she wants. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really falter on that. But yeah, overall, um, just going off as like some scores, I guess, to wrap it up. I gave it four stars out of five. There's some parts for me towards the end that kind of drag a bit, but overall, and especially talking with you all about it, there's a lot to delve into with this film, and Robert Eggers is just so good at layers and upon layers of different kind of like horrific aspects, and just the setting overall. So I gave it
What
four.
what helps it a lot for me is just cinematography wise. Like if this movie would have been shot like without the it's not black and white grain necessarily, but the color to me it kind of is like a
Right.
very dulled out.
Like the
Um,
palette's just kind of like grayish.
yeah, like that helps it a lot. The dialogue, maybe it could have been toned down a little bit in their dialect, but
Hmm.
at the same time, if anything, that helps just put you in that feeling of not only is it old, but also in that kind of like folktale written story.
Definitely.
And then when you get on to like the lighthouse, it's the same type of whack dialogue.
I think, yeah, that would be a good one to talk about, The Lighthouse. That's a really good movie.
Hey, we're just building on the Robert Eggers up until Nosferatu. So Tyler's rating on Letterboxd went from a 4 stars to a 5 stars. You'd love to see it. What would you all rate it out of 5? I want to hear everyone's kind of aspects if they could give it in a really, as if us talking about it doesn't really sum it up, but in a number scale.
I think 4 out of 5 sounds pretty nice to me. Just based on everything that Chad was pointing out with the apple and all this, like the hidden meanings and such. I think that kind of raised my bar for it.
Yeah, same.
I'm a big geek of folklore type shit anyway, for like witches and all that stuff. So I like the movie anyway as is. You know, even though I know the Barbarian's probably not like heavy on folklore, but more of like just history type things anyway, and not supernatural that I still need to watch. But I think The Witch is a good 4 out of 5. To be honest,
That's probably what I'd give it be a 4 out of 5 because I really enjoyed most of the acting. Like I really liked Thomason's actor. I liked the dad's actor.
mm-hmm.
And it was just good to see the symbolism that they like kind of used. Like, you know, they showed this in the beginning of the film and then they moved it and they showed it like another kind of way, like the apple again. You know, in the beginning they showed the whole he went and looked for it, he lied about it, and then he comes back and he pretty much dies because of it. So I enjoyed it overall.
Solid movie. It's definitely a solid movie. If anybody watching likes witches and whatnot, you know, it's definitely a top tier one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like overall, what you get out of it is just, some of like the peak sort of like folklore aspect filmmaking that you can get.
Mm-hmm.
You all talking about the cinematographer. One point that I was thinking of whenever I was watching it, whenever like Caleb was kind of like rummaging through the brush trying to find the rabbit, is just imagine how that looked when they were shooting it in the moment, as opposed to how it looked after they got done with it on like the color grading and stuff. I mean, it was just so like well realized as far as almost like as black and white as you can get without making it
Mm-hmm.
black and white. And I looked the cinematographer. I can't pronounce his name, but he has done The Witch. Obviously, he's done The Lighthouse. He's done The Northman. He's also doing Nosferatu, and he did Knock at the Cabin too. So, and Knock at the Cabin's really well shot. So, shout out to that guy.
That's what it was called. It wasn't called The Barbarian. It was called The Northman, wasn't it? I don't know why I called it The Barbarian.
Well,
Well, there's
Barbarian's a superior horror movie, but Tyler wouldn't agree. Didn't you not like it?
Damn.
No, I love Barbarian.
You liked it?
I love a Barbarian, yeah.
Justin Long.
That's a movie we need to talk about. I really like that movie.
Jesus.
I really like that movie.
Please. Just have a whole like Justin Long month.
Hey,
Watching the
what is it?
Sorry, when I went to watch Barbarian, that was one of those like I didn't know about the movie until like literally 30 minutes before we went to go see it. 'Cause me and Michaela were just chilling, and she's like, "We should go to the theater," and she showed me the trailer and it had Justin Long in it, and I was like, "Yeah, sure, we can go watch it." So I didn't know what to expect, and that was definitely like the best way to go into that.
I feel like I know the answer to this, but Chad, have you seen it?
Nope.
Holy fuck.
Good movie. Good movie.
All right. We need to do Justin Long January, and maybe Justin Long will see it, and we can get him guesting on it on the pod, and we could be like, and I can just be like, Justin Long, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
I already know a movie we can watch that I haven't watched it. I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. It's Tusk.
Creepo Rama posted today that they're doing a limited drop.
Really?
I saw that. Yep.
They're going to be doing a second film. I think it's just going to be called Tusks, but yeah.
If I was to ever rewatch Tusk, it would probably be for the podcast, but because holy fuck, whenever I first watched that, I was like, what is this?
Dude, let me tell you, if this podcast ever gets big enough, I want Kevin Smith to fucking be on this motherfucker. Just to talk about that movie and different things. Like he is. I watch his podcast all the time. He's like one of my favorite people. But
Big Kevin Smith guy.
that would
Be
be
like, Kevin Smith, so what were you on whenever you did the test? Because like, holy fuck, dude.
I like that idea though. The Justin Long January month. I think that would be fucking amazing. Just do one big long
Because
run.
you got Jeepers Creepers, you got Drag Me to Hell, you got Barbarian. Am I missing any?
He's in the new
I
Goosebumps.
was thinking that. I was like, is that goofy to say? But hey,
No.
I watched the first episode.
I was going to. It looked decent. I swear there's something else that he was in recently.
I'm about to look it up.
I thought there was a newer scary movie or something.
And if we do Jeepers Creepers, we'll probably be on here for at least 5 hours because I'll be talking about them.
I love Jeepers.
I don't see anything recent as far as Justin
It's a
Long, but
Wonderful Knife.
oh yeah,
What was it called?
Yeah, I don't remember that. It's a Wonderful Knife.
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Almost said Justin. Tyler gave it at first he gave it 2 stars, but then he changed it to 1.5. And his review, we need a Justin Long month. He said Justin Long knew what kind of movie he was in. Best part. For real. Love you, Justin Long. Love you.
I'm gonna have to get like a whiteboard, dude. Like whenever we fucking say shit, I'm gonna put it on there. I definitely want to do that. I think that needs to be a staple thing that we do. That'd be fun as fuck.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting a whiteboard or like a little cork board over here, so I could also like just like write down shit that I could like think of or whatever. But yeah, The Witch, good movie. Would you all want to talk about a little bit of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 50th anniversary, like special edition collector shit with the 4K?
With that, I was meaning to text you it, but I was just like, I'll just save it for this if we talk about it. Is the VHS release? I don't know like how transfers really work when it comes to like the quality of it.
Yeah, relatively same.
So is that like original like format, or is that going to be like as like the best quality?
So as far as I know, I think it's gonna be kind of like the best quality you could get for a VHS, which isn't gonna be outstanding. I was trying to see if it's kind of like delved into it more, but you're getting a chainsaw, which is sick. You're getting a Blu-ray, a 4K, which is always nice, and a VHS, which you love to see whenever you get a VHS in a modern release. It just says an exclusive VHS release featuring original VHS release artwork. So I'm guessing, like, I don't know if they would like add any sort of like. It'd be cool if they added like some sort of like kind of like grain or like any sort of bit where it probably was how viewing it back in the day, but like when Terrifier 2, I think, done a VHS release, I thought that was really cool. I would like to get into VHS. I was telling you, Tyler, I was trying to get someone I knew to give me one of their VCRs so I can try and like get like a VHS kind of setup.
Dude, I got super lucky. We were at like one of these. I forgot what it was called right now, but it's in Charleston. Something humanity. We were just there.
Habitat.
Yeah, I was there with my wife's family. We were just looking around, and I was just looking at the VHSs, and I found pretty sure it's Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm pretty sure VHS, and I was super proud. Not proud. That sounds stupid. Super excited.
That was a grail. Yeah.
I was super excited to get it, and I was going up to the lady to buy it, and she was like, "It's only $1," and I only had my card on me, and she was like, "Oh, we can't take cards, so you can have it for free." And I was like, "Fucking hell! Like, let's go!"
Whoa.
Yeah, that was a cool
It's
find.
huge. Yeah, I Only 2 VHS I have, which I ordered offline, was, and I told Tyler this, is a Jeepers Creepers, which had to have been on the latter half of VHS before they just overall stopped. And then there was like a Night of the Living Dead one,
Mm.
which I feel like would be pretty peak on a VHS format. But yeah, that set is like over $200. So like I'm an obsessive Texas Chainsaw like physical media collector, but I don't think I'm gonna be getting that one. But it's really cool just talking about how VHS is like sort of becoming again like a more prevalent sort of like physical media release, kind of like vinyls. I tell everyone everything is kind of like seems like it's in a bell curve
Mhm.
as far as like popularity.
Yeah. I wanted that Terrifier 2 VHS. Like, I was working that day and I saw it on the fucking, on the aisle, and I was like, "Oh, should I get it?" But I don't have a VHS, thing, so, like, I don't know how well
Oh
it would still be a collector item, but there was only 2 of
yeah,
them, and I was like, "There's no chance," even if I had, the money right then and there for it and shit, so
I know
dang.
they on eBay.
what is it?
I think last time I checked, they were like close to 100.
No way,
Or
dude.
I'm about to research it right now
Jesus
as we
Christ.
speak.
It was like 30, I think, originally,
Yeah, it wasn't anything egregious, right?
mm. It was really cool. I like that whole little setup that that they had of horror stuff. I loved it.
Yeah, they like done that for like what, like a month or
Yeah.
two. It was just like or just like a horror sort of like themed
Mhm.
line that they had. Yeah, it's going for like 45 and up, like 50, $60, which
I was
that
thinking of
sucks.
the one that's like the art, the Crispies.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That variant for a lot more.
I don't think I saw that one.
I don't know if that's a Walmart
Mm. But
version or not.
resellers just suck. I mean,
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, I hate it.
especially for limited releases and stuff too. I mean, it just kind of handicaps a lot of the fans that kind of miss out on stuff like that.
Jesus Christ, with Star Wars stuff, man, it's like a kick in the balls every time. I don't even try now.
Can you elaborate? Like, what's even like the cusp of that?
Well, there's like some. What was it? I don't. I haven't really looked into it much now, but it's like the 2 pack of like you had Yoda and what was it? Gree, um, and it was a Hasbro exclusive, and it was just like straight away gone, and
Hmm.
so I was
It
like,
was one
fuck.
of those where like Pulse does the Pulse Premium membership where you get an hour early access before
Hmm.
the actual all the stock sold out before that time window was up. So even people who had premium wasn't able to get it. Which I remember I got it because I was there like literally at the second the link went up. I was there and I got it. And then it was like 20 minutes later, I'm seeing like I think Yak Face posted like sold out, which like other than that, premium for Pulse never came in handy for me because most of the time everything would be in stock
Mm,
by the time it hit the normal time. But for some reason with that release, that's been it. And it's
yeah,
not even shipped yet. And that was like
it was a while back.
February or
Yeah,
March maybe.
it was a while back.
Let me check.
Um, for like releases that you were just like kind of alerted on, there was a Terrifier 2 Funko Pop that I was gonna get. It was art in the flower glasses, and as soon as I clicked on that, it immediately said out of stock, and it was just like right when I got the notification. I was like, "Holy shit, dude!" That was like a Funko exclusive. So yeah, I fall victim to that quite often.
There's a neon sign of art with the flower glasses I've been seeing around. I really want to get that just to put on my wall.
That sounds awesome. Um, and speaking of kind of what Tyler was saying, as far as like releases that take like forever and a day to come in, I had a Hot Toys Toby Maguire No Way Home ordered, and I ordered that back in like May of 2022, and it was like June or it might have been, I might have got the years wrong, but anyways, it was over a year that I was waiting on it, and it got to a point where I was like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get this. Like, and I kind of need the money. I'm just gonna cancel it. But I guess like the first wave of those Toby Hot Toys, like there was like some like I think like some of the webbing on the suit was like kind of jacked up, so like there had to been like some replacements
Mm.
sent in, I believe.
I think even like the older figures, like the first ones, their first renditions of them, when Sideshow was first doing like Tobey Maguire and stuff, they had issues with the webbing, how it's like you can feel it, it's rubber and whatnot. They would have the rips and tears of it if you have it in like a certain position for the longest time. Like I sold the Hellboy Hot Toys probably like a month ago, and you really couldn't pose him, but his full body had like just like the heavy plastic on him, or the rubber or whatever they call it. And I was really
Hmm.
worried, putting him in a certain position that it would just start tearing and stuff because he was like thicker in under his the figure was.
Was that Ron Perlman's or
Mm-mm.
was that no?
David
That was the
Harbour.
newer one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
Nice.
liked it, but it was just like every time I looked at it, I was like, that doesn't scream Hellboy to me. So
Hmm. And I feel like with Hot Toys, it does come down to kind of like if you got like a really cool display. I mean, because you're not really gonna get much posing out of them
mhm,
really at all.
They're all usually just
yeah.
Yeah.
They're super fucking expensive now too, man. I swear. Holy fuck.
Dude, that Toby was like over 300, I
Yeah,
think, or something.
it's insane. I'm just really sticking with Marvel Legends, and like I've lowered the amount of Black Series I have. I think I'm just like really gonna stick with the original trilogy characters and Hellboy stuff, but that's about it for me.
hot toy hot toys is smoking crack if they think that they can do this whole the the Tatooine set they've started doing with all like the background cantina
Oh,
members.
yeah.
They're
It's
doing
like
that.
yes, and they are crazy if they think people are going to drop $300 per background character.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know this.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't even show
Well,
like the accessories yet, have they? It's just like the characters and the price point.
there's like the one photo, and like most of them are like blurred out, so you can't see who it is. But I think it's Greedo, uh, Ponda Baba, and I don't remember his actual name, but I know it from Lego Star Wars. Is like the the little spy guy,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
I can't think of what the character's actual name is. I just know Imperial Spy.
Nah, I love how y'all actually can fucking remember like the names. That's
Well, his
amazing.
that that his face, the spy guy, he reminds me of that old little newspaper, or no, it was Mad TV. It was like Spy versus Spy. That's what he reminds me of. I can't think of his name either though.
Can anyone call out the dude's name of like the guy with the like the fucked up like nose, like that weird looking dude?
I can't. I know
Um,
what you're talking about. What'd you
Dr. Evazan.
say?
Such a G for that. Speaking of, you guys are like the perfect people I can vent my problem to. Um, I think I'm going to buy the like replica Green Goblin helmet whenever that comes out in
Ooh, man.
December.
My wife, I showed her that. I was like, "Look how fucking cool this was." And the first time ever, she went, "Yeah, that is pretty cool. We need to put that on the wall." And I was like, "What the fuck? Hold up.
Yo, that's fire.
What the
That's
fuck?"
fire.
Yeah, but I think it's cool, but yeah, I don't know. I would love to have it just put on the wall. Just thinking of Spider-Man 1.
I'll get the pumpkins.
Mm,
Ooh,
dude,
there are the pumpkins.
the pumpkins, man. It's cool, but like every time I see him in like real photos without like them showing it online, like people having them. Some people get like disappointed in them. I know you had Star Wars ones, didn't you, Tyler? Before?
Mm.
No. What the fuck am I thinking
I
about?
had a I did have a Clone Trooper helmet, but it was 3D
That
printed.
was yeah. I thought you had one from Hasbro. I don't know.
I think the
I've
Green
thought about.
Goblin. What were you saying, Tyler?
I was like, I've thought about getting the Black Series helmets before, but yeah.
It seemed like a lot of them are kind of like hit or miss.
Well, I know there's the big controversy with Boba Fett's helmet because it's the mold used for the more original trilogy style helmet designs,
Mhm.
but where in like Mando and Book of Boba Fett, his visor, there's like a slight different shape to it. There's these people who are like, well, actually, it's just a repaint. It's not actually 100% accurate. I'm like, well, yeah, because Hasbro's not going to make a whole new mold just to fix the visor shape.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be
But
kind of nice. I mean, like especially for what you're going to be paying for it. I mean, if
Hasbro
you're
can't
thinking
do
about
it.
it, yeah. For that Green Goblin helmet, I'm just thinking of getting it and just sitting it on my armchair in my living room and just talking to it whenever I'm feeling kind of devious, you know.
It'd be sick if it had a button that said lines like he was talking to you. That'd be sick as fuck.
Oh my god. I need that. That needs to be a mod. Need
Like the
that
Yeah.
one
Willem
that
Dafoe
like
mod.
randomly, like in the middle of the night, it just
Mhm.
goes off.
Yeah.
You just get like the laugh or something.
Dude, that needs to be something, yeah, modded in if it's not going to be a thing at all. That would be genius.
There's the other. I was at work the other day, and for whatever reason, the line in Spider-Man One, whenever Spider-Man and Green Goblin are at the parade, he throws the punch, and Goblin catches it, and he says, "Impressive!" And then he fucking just like kicks him across the like courtyard. There's so many lines from Willem Dafoe in
Mhm.
Spider-Man. That's so good.
Yeah. The monologue
hang
he
on,
has. Amazon. So, oh my god, he's just an actor that's so top tier. Just anything you drop him in, he's just gonna make gold.
Legit. Beetlejuice recently, and he's gonna be in Nosferatu.
Mhm. I really am excited for Nosferatu. I really am.
Mm,
Um, Lighthouse. If we do a podcast episode on that, that's another one that he's just like crazy good in. So
loves the Lighthouse. I got a really cool A24 website exclusive 4K of it. So big
fuck
fan
yeah,
on it.
fuck yeah.
And I still haven't seen the Northman, so
I haven't
I'd be
either.
down. I mean, we could watch some Robert Eggers in preparation for Nosferatu, which is still only in December.
Chad, have you watched The Northman?
I have not.
I know Tyler
It's
has.
oh no.
And you haven't seen the Lighthouse either, Chad?
No.
Lighthouse is
Nice.
good. I don't know about The Northman, but The Lighthouse is really good.
Northman's not my thing.
Well, it's like Chad, you like the H.R. Lovecraft TV show, or I think you said you watched a little bit of it.
I
Or
started it, never finished it.
well, if you like I said H.R.
HP.
Lovecraft. It's H.P. Lovecraft. Um, you would like that. That's right up the alley of it. So,
The Lighthouse?
mhm.
It's definitely, yeah. It's really nuts. Have you seen that like where there's like kind of like a true story that's kind of like coincides with it of like a couple lighthouse keepers that were on an island and then they just disappeared whenever they were coming back.
I did see
Yeah.
that.
Huh. I didn't know about
True
that.
I think
story.
Yeah, they were out there and then
might
they just
be
like
Craig.
vanished, and I think people went and looked for them and they like never found them or something. They just like
Yeah.
disappeared.
I believe this that true story was 4 to 3 people instead of just
I
two.
think that's
So
what it was.
I swear to God that Mr. Webb, 7th grade, we read that story.
what a absolute deep cut, boys. Mr. Webb, 7th grade. What is that? What was that class?
I think that was just English, right?
English, I
Because
guess.
he
Yeah, I
taught.
can't even remember.
I don't even know
Did
who
you
that
have
is.
Mr. Webb?
I did.
Only the dupe kids.
I remember Mr. Webb simping over Miss Farrell as well.
Yeah, you'll have that.
Yeah, you will. Shout out Jeff Webb.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I'm from Cedar Grove. Cedar Grove.
The bait.
Cedar Grove, you know. One brain cell. Let's go.
Hey, Riverside, all combined 4 brain cells right here.
Yeah, that's that place.
But yeah, we got if y'all want freaking some more Robert Eggers, I think that'd be really cool, especially in preparation for Nosferatu and Justin Long January.
That one's gonna be fun. That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
You get some exposure, get Justin Long, see it, be like Justin Long, hop on the pod.
Hell yeah, dude. That'd be a good way too, because Justin Long, and then you can inch your way into Kevin Smith since he's in his movies all the time, or Justin
Holy
Long's in his.
shit! Yeah,
Kevin
I've
Smith
listened
is
to
good.
I've listened to a little bit of Justin Long's podcast that he's got with I think it's his brother. It's pretty good. I like listening to him.
I didn't know you had one.
Hmm.
Hail. Yeah.
Oh, do you want to talk about that Mike Mingola
Oh,
documentary a little bit, Avery?
if anybody's interested, Mike Mignola has a documentary called Drawing Monsters. I'm pretty sure I have the sticker somewhere. But that's where these two little cards come from. You can't really see because of light right now, but it's just drawings by different artists. Mike is as well. I got some back there with the exclusive T-shirt that came with it from doing the Kickstarter. But if anybody's interested in it, it's just how he draws his creations. You know, Hellboy and BPRD and everything that's within that universe. And I think it shows more of history about him. I personally have not watched it yet. I got the link for it. I know that sounds bad, even though I helped, I put money towards it for it to actually reach the goal with a bunch of people. But the cool thing is, if you did that, your name's in the credits. So I'm gonna have to watch it now to see that, because I think that would bring me a lot of joy since I'm such a hardcore Hellboy fan. So if anybody's interested.
Yeah, I'm super interested in that. And I was looking at the cast. It looked like it had Guillermo del Toro and
Hmm.
a lot of other really big names attached to it. I guess they're kind of like talking heads in it. So
Yeah, they
it
do
looks
little
really
interviews.
sick.
Little
Yeah.
interviews from everybody that kind of helped out, because Guillermo, I hope I said his name right. He did the
Mhm.
2 Hellboy movies, so the 2 first Hellboy movies with Ron Perlman. So, and just because we brought his name up, there is a series on Netflix called Cabinet of Curiosities. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I've talked about it briefly before this podcast was a thing. If you like horror short stories, it's episodic and it's just single episodes of horror stories within them. That is a great one to watch because there's some pretty good ones in it. My favorite personally is the one with the alien. Pretty fucked up and scary, but yeah. If you're interested in Hellboy, just a good little watch. I know you're trying to tiptoe into it. I would definitely start with the Hellboy books first instead of the BPRD, because the BPRD
Yeah.
can spoil you of some things that is in Hellboy. So the timeline's all fucking weird, but Hellboy's great.
Is it worse
Um,
than the Fox Marvel universe?
What is it?
Is it worse than the Fox Marvel universe?
I wouldn't say. I don't know. Oh god, man. I Fox and Marvel and Sony can't keep count anymore.
Speaking on Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, um, shout out Jennifer Kent because she directed The Babadook and The Nightingale, which are both really fire films. And she done the episode The Murmuring in Cabinet of Curiosities. And I thought about watching that just for the pure fact that I'm trying to watch most of her filmography because she's a really good director.
Mm.
And I can't remember for sure who's in that episode. Did you watch all of them?
I watched all of them. Now the
Yeah.
title, I don't remember each episode what the titles were.
Right. I think Andrew Lincoln from The Walking Dead's in that one, I believe.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking. Yes, I remember it
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Mhm. She's a really great director. The Babadook. Have any of y'all seen that?
I've tried to watch a little
I
bit
always
of it.
hmm
I always
Um,
kind of that as like a stereotypical like Blumhouse peekaboo kind of movie. Am I wrong?
you're very wrong. I mean, just as like, I feel like it's almost kind of like The Witch, where I feel like The Witch almost is like just as sad as it is horrific. I mean, The Babadook deals a lot in like grief and stuff. But I would recommend. So if you were to ever watch it, I would say watch it. So that and The Nightingale, which is a really good one. So the last film that she had made was in 2018. So shout out Jennifer Kent. She needs to make more films.
I would say watch it for sure. I watched the whole series. All of them are great. That one in particular is very sad, if from what I remember. So
hmm She does like really good in like kind of dealing with like horror and like kind of grief and
mhm,
stuff from the two films I've seen of her.
yeah, that was a good episode.
So yeah, see that Mike Mingola documentary? That looks fucking sick, dude. That's awesome. Your name's attached to it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Man, I did that in like 2021, and then it was like maybe a year later or some, and then they sent all that stuff in because I did like the tier thing. But
hmm
it's pretty cool, pretty cool. I'm
Yeah.
always down for anything Hillbilly Universe and Mike Mignola. Like his books and art are fantastic. Like that's all his stuff, just a big lithograph. You can't really see
I've
it
always
because
wondered. Yeah, I've wondered what that was.
yeah, I'll have to take a picture of it and send it to the Discord. It's just like Hellboy's life. There's a collared one, but it was sold out.
Mhm. The only Kickstarter I've backed is I don't know if y'all have watched Chris Stuckman on YouTube, but he's coming out with a film, and I put some money towards it to where I get sent a Blu-ray of it. It's really cool because it's getting like Mike Flanagan, which he's done Hush, The Haunting of Hill House, and The Haunting of Bly Manor, and Gerald's Game. He's like doing. He's helping produce the film, and it's being distributed by Neon. So for a directorial debut from a YouTuber, I mean that's going to be pretty big release, which is really cool.
Mm.
There's no release date yet, is there, for
Mm-mm.
Sylvie Oaks?
Nah, they've showed it at a couple festivals, and I'm really interested to see how it is. I think it's gotten like pretty decent, to moderate reviews, but I feel like especially in a directorial debut, I mean, you gotta give props, and especially with like the big names attached to it. I mean, that's awesome.
Well, I know like Chris Stuckman, he's had to deal with a lot of kind of not controversy recently, but
Just a lot of
since he
flack.
stopped, yeah, since he stopped actually like giving like an detailed critique kind of reviews, and they're more just like, "Hey, I like this movie, you should like it too."
Yeah, I feel like it kind
That
of more so comes down to like general criticisms and not him like because I feel like what got him kind of big was him like shitting on certain bad movies and stuff. But yeah, I mean like now anymore he's getting to do like podcasts with well-known directors like he did one with Jennifer Kent and Mike Flanagan and stuff. So I mean more power to him, I'd say.
How do you feel about Mike Flanagan? I saw a recent interview where he said that his Exorcist is going to be the scariest.
Well, I'd say to that probably not. It's already been done. It was done in 1973. Um, I think Mike Flanagan's a really good director. I think he seems like a good dude, and he actually cares about the shit that he puts out. And there is I don't know if you all have seen Hush, but that was a film that was on Netflix for a while, and then it got taken off. But it's finally here recently. It's going to be coming out with a 4K Blu-ray release, and it's available to rent. So, which I'm always a big proponent of because whenever I feel like a lot of Netflix movies are just put to the wayside because they're never going to get like a physical release, and they're just kind of doomed to Netflix. So, yeah, I'd say Mike Flanagan. I'm excited to see what he would do as far as the Exorcist and stuff because I guess it can't be worse than the last one, which I have not seen. But
It was wonderful.
I watched Hush.
I
Did you?
Sorry, not
What'd you
to
think
cut you
on it?
off. No,
I
you can go ahead, Tyler. I was just like the Hush it was like so the name reminded me of something. I couldn't think of it. But yeah.
Yeah, Tyler, tell us how amazing Exorcist Believer was. Please inform us.
So I love the dynamic between the two kids. They definitely felt like they were real, like, buddies. That was very believable. Just the ensemble of all the different families and their beliefs, I feel like worked perfectly well to service the plot. Um, and also Ellen Burstyn's appearance for the whole like 5 minutes she's in the movie, that made it for me. That was like the cherry on top to have a legacy character show up in a movie that she was totally needed in.
I know I talked to you about it before. I still need to watch it. I still need to run through all the Exorcists. Yet again, another reason why I'm bad at watching things, just talking about it, and then I just float away from it. So I do need to watch the rest of the Exorcist and the Bad Omens. But now that you say that, I might watch it now.
I mean, The Exorcist, I've only watched the original, 2, 3, and Believer. And honestly, I think, if I remember correctly, yeah, I would say Believer is better than 2, just for the fact that Exorcist 2 literally just feels like a parody movie. But Exorcist 3 is a really good, like, Silence of the Lambs, I guess, type movie. If you want more of like a mystery, because it's not really about like an exorcism.
That was the one where they recast that one character, right? Or was that
Yeah, it depends on the cut of the movie that you watch, but Father Karras from the original movie,
Mhm.
in the theatrical cut, he's played by the original actor and Brad Dourif, but in the director's cut, it's just Brad Dourif.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I need to run through them and start where I left off.
Have we all seen the original Exorcist?
I have. I don't think Chad has.
Let's just skip past that.
Yeah,
I
I
was gonna
knew
say,
it.
Chad, I'm just gonna stop asking you. No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
any movie I've not seen it probably.
Um, Tyler, you've seen the just this real quick, but have you seen the theatrical and extended edition of the original Exorcist? And Avery too, if both of you.
So I didn't know that there was differences because I swear, is it the scene where she is
It's coming
crawling
down the
down the
stairs. Mhm.
Which version is that?
That is in the extended cut, the
Okay,
director's
so
cut.
then I guess that's the version that I watched because I remember like, or maybe it's just one of those things where I'd seen clips from the movie before I watched it.
Hmm.
So whenever I read that that was only in the director's cut, I was like, but I swear I've seen that before. So honestly, I don't know, but I think I watched the director's
That's
cut.
really interesting, though. What about you, Avery?
I don't know which version I've
Have you
watched.
seen that scene?
Where she's walking down?
Walking down the steps backwards and the blood comes out of her mouth.
No, I have not seen that. No,
Interesting.
no.
I feel like that scene kind of gives like a placebo effect. It's like I feel like that too. But anyways, I think just speaking on that, I think the theatrical cut is actually better than the director's cut because I feel like the director's cut kind of just drags it on a bit too much. Like there's like a couple more like medical scenes and stuff. So I don't really know why I brought that up, but it was something that I was thinking about.
I think that
I didn't know
movie's
that was
good. Sorry, you good?
fine. I didn't even know there was a difference in the cuts until the past couple months.
Hmm.
I knew about the Exorcist 3 between the two different cuts because I watched the theatrical. for that?
I just within the last like 2 years, I believe I watched The Exorcist for the first time in probably the last 2 or 3 years, and it's probably one of my favorite films of all time. I watched a documentary on William Friedkin talking about directing it and just all the stuff that it brought. And as far as like audience reactions and stuff, it's kind of cool how it's kind of, I mean, not comparable by like film quality or like subject matter, but how in like Terrifier 2, when it was released in theaters, there was people like passing out and puking and stuff, and there was like kind of the same thing that was happening for The Exorcist. But you got to think about the totally different subtleties. The Exorcist was just disturbing psychologically, and crucifixion activities barring, there was a lot of differences as far as subject matter, but there was that in The Exorcist as well.
Have you listened to the audiobook for The Exorcist?
No, but I've
Narrated.
wanted to read that.
Well, I'm sure there's multiple different versions, but I listened to the one that's narrated by William Friedkin.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that was one.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds awesome.
Or no, William Peter Blatty. Sorry.
William Peter Blatty. Yeah, no, same difference. The author of The Exorcist. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, yeah, he narrated it. And when it gets to like the demonic possessed, like voice acting,
Yeah.
that was top tier.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Let me see.
I finally busted out my Ultimate Spider-Man omnibus.
I saw
Volume 2.
the
Yeah.
picture you sent. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really need to get a shelf around here somewhere and put my books on.
I completely moved my setup around. I'm like in a completely different room, and I like this a lot better, honestly.
I did all this like a week ago, so moved
Dude,
it.
that's sick. Yeah, it looks great.
We put a couch in here too, because it used to be a beanbag, but it felt like it took up too much space.
Mm-hmm.
So I put the couch, and then I had to move these over here and put up the lights.
Yeah, it looks great. Everyone's background is
art?
fucking hidden.
What's the art between the bookshelves?
Right
It's
here?
like One Piece.
One Piece.
Okay.
There's a whole shelf right here dedicated to One Piece pops.
Nice.
I've been thinking
You
about
read
putting art
What is
back behind me. What is it?
I was gonna ask Chad if he's read Berserk.
Oh man, no, he hasn't.
No.
Really?
No, he
Okay.
hasn't. I know he hasn't. I know he hasn't.
I've
Avery,
looked
have
at the
you?
first
I've read it.
page.
From the
You've read
start
it?
to finish. Yep.
From start to finish.
Well, from where they are.
Oh,
I should
okay.
say that at
Holy
least.
shit. Yeah. I got volume 1. I guess that's what it's considered as a volume. Volume
Mhm.
1. I recently got it, and I've been jonesing to pick it up and read it.
I will say I'm not. I know Chad will shit on me, and I know Devin would too if he was here. But I'm not the biggest anime or manga fan. But if a anime or manga really, really interests me, and Berserk was one of them that I read all online. But Berserk, once I read the first fucking page, it was just like, you hooked me. I'm gonna read the whole thing. Like there's very few stories that make me do that. Berserk is one. Invincible got me really good, and I read it from start to finish. There and like Hellboy and stuff, but Berserk, man, that is such a fucking. It can be very, very vile and gross and just what the fuck moments, but it is such a good story. Um, it's worth it. Even though I don't know where they're going to go with it from right now because how the creator died and they're figuring all that crap out. So I don't know what's going to go on, but it's a pretty damn good read, Chad. And I think you should dive in.
I was looking. I was going to watch the anime,
Please
but I
don't.
know y'all said it's not
Please don't.
very similar. So
No.
it's on my list of reads.
Heard the anime's got a great theme song that really fits with the tone of the manga.
I can't really remember it. I
That's
think.
sarcasm. I heard it was like really like
Yeah.
upbeat and did not fit with it at all.
Well, the bad thing about the anime is like they one of them was like this weird 3D type thing with the anime, and then sometimes it's like straight anime that's good, but they stopped making them, so it's only showing like a few parts of the actual whole story, and it's not going to go into detail with how gruesome the manga is and how kind of rapey it can get and very nasty, and so I would stick with the manga for sure.
Have you seen how some fans are like making their own anime, like a faithful anime adaptation?
I saw something on Reddit not too long ago. Yeah, somebody was doing it. I think they just got, if it was the same thing I saw here this week, they got a cease and desist. So that might not be coming out.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, I saw a trailer on YouTube and it looked fucking awesome. I mean, they done like, I mean, kind of like what you said. They done like it looked like some straight up animation, like drawing, hand drawing, and then there was
Mm,
some 3D aspects for some stuff that they just couldn't illustrate. But that sucks. I mean, because you would, I feel like it's stuff like that. I feel like studios and publications should just partner up with the fans at that point, or for especially something like that.
hmm Yeah, it kind of sucked. I saw that they got that. If it's the same people that was doing it, I know that it was a big thing fans were looking for.
I'd probably say, yeah, that's crazy. That's not surprising though. I mean,
Mm,
as far as when you're working with a pre-existing property.
yeah, yeah. Sadly, yeah. But yeah, it's a good read. It's totally worth it. I think so. It can be, even if you get to the points where you're like, I don't know if I should be reading this. The story's still good because it really can get you like. Sometimes it can be like very, very gross, and you're like, why am I reading this?
Hmm.
But Chad's over there with One Piece, you know,
Look, it's a great story.
One Piece, and
Like you
Devin with
mentioned,
Never-ending
Naruto.
series, right?
that's about it.
That's like the never-ending series.
It's coming to an end. Next 35 years, it will be ending.
I need to watch it.
You do.
Devin's
We're
like
on episode
Naruto.
like 1100, so you'll catch up.
One day, one day.
I
Get my.
did it in like a year, so I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
You like it? It's good. You know.
Plus, at both jobs, I was like able to watch it and not have much to do. So
Meanwhile, I'm like entry level with Demon Slayer. I watched Demon Slayer, some of a lot of Samurai Champloo, and some of Cowboy Bebop.
if you watched Jujutsu Kaisen,
No, but my buddy did. I've heard good things.
Yeah, good show.
very
First
good.
season. First season was really, really good. It's another one that Chad and Devin ride my ass about. So
You gotta watch season 2. Like
I do.
you started it, you went like one
I
episode in.
know. I know. I know. Fuck. Fuck. Is there any other topics you guys want to touch on? We are on this one's for sure our longest podcast. We are at 2 hours and 12 minutes.
So
Jesus.
what we have is we have what Agatha coming out tomorrow, Wednesday,
Oh,
and
okay.
then the Penguin Thursday.
Penguin's gonna be, yeah.
So that'll be something we can talk about, next time if we all get to watch it.
Unfortunately, not Mommy Penguin, Colin Farrell Penguin, but still nonetheless.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching both of them.
I think we had a couple good topics lined up, but we go off topic pretty well.
I'll say we can save some of the stuff for next time. Maybe try to add a little extra to the shows.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think for the next one, or not the next one, but I mean, just in the upcoming ones, maybe we can cover the Lighthouse because I'd be very interested to hear Chad's point of view on it. And have you seen it, Tyler?
Yeah.
Okay, I think a rewatch would probably be good, and Avery, I'd also, obviously like to hear yours, and yeah, just gearing up for Nosferatu and talk about some nerdy shit. To hear y'all's thoughts on Agatha, and this podcast gives me the initiative to actually stick with the shows. So watching the
Right.
Penguin.
Yeah, we can segment it up. So we go in specific version, or not versions, but specific segments. Like Tyler was saying, like off-topic type stuff. We can just segment it up where
Mhm.
we're more on track with things.
Sweet.
But if that is the end, that is what, the fourth now? Hell
That is
yeah,
it. Fourth.
fourth episode. Not bad.
All right, time for popcorn bucket.
Popcorn bucket.